While many communities still observe Columbus Day, more and more cities are now recognizing this past Monday as Indigenous Peoples Day. That's the case in both Tulsa and Oklahoma City. Taylor Jackson reports on the day-long festivities at the First Americans Museum in Oklahoma City.
The sounds of drums, laughter, and the aroma of food fill the air Monday at the First Americans Museum as thousands of Oklahomans gather to celebrate Indigenous Peoples Day.
We have so many things going on for Indigenous Peoples Day. We have social dances, dance demonstrations, mayoral proclamations, stickball games for adults and youth.
The second Monday in October, originally known as Columbus Day, has taken on a new meaning and a new name as Indigenous people continue to change the narrative of Columbus and his interaction with Indigenous people.
So the rest of the country is celebrating Columbus Day. Here in Oklahoma City, we're celebrating Indigenous Peoples Day.
We can have those difficult conversations that really think critically about what we've known in the past as Columbus Day. And how that story was really something that we weren't hearing a lot of truth about it and what happened to Indigenous peoples during that time.
In 2021, President Joe Biden became the first United States president to formally recognize the holiday with the presidential proclamation. However, not every city or state recognizes Indigenous Peoples Day. Instead, they still celebrate the federal holiday Columbus Day.
There are so many communities around the U.S. who have created this day, and while we certainly understand that it does not fix all of the things that are happening within our community, it's a really great time to have conversations where we can discuss issues that are happening in our community, ways to be allies to Indigenous communities.
Indigenous Peoples Day was first officially recognized in Oklahoma City in 2018.
Indigenous Peoples Day is just this incredible opportunity for our community to come together to talk about all the ways that Indigenous people not only have impacted historically our state, our nation, this land base, but also about who we are as thriving people today.
FAM Cultural Ambassador Ace Greenwood says it is to recognize all Indigenous people from the Americas.
You've got this giant continent and this little area that's the United States. So a lot of people, when they think Native Americans, First Americans, they think this smaller area, but it's the entire area. So we're celebrating all that. Trying to help people understand who we are, that we're still here. We're not fairy tales, legends. I might be a legend, but we just want people to understand who we are.
Over the last 3 years, Oklahoma and tribal nations have had differences when it comes to McGirt and tribal compacts. Matriarch co-founder Sarah Adams says she would like to see more equity.
When we're talking about things like tribal regalia at graduation, when we're looking at gaming compacts, when we're talking about any of the compacts that happens with the tribes, there has to be more open conversation about that and more respect. There has to be a level of respect that undergirds all of those conversations that I just don't see a lot happening at the state capitol.
And while the relations between the state, U.S., and tribal nations have made some progress, many say it's not enough.
Thinking about the fact that it was illegal to practice our ways, our traditions, our languages up until 1978. I was born in 78, and so our generation is the first generation to be able to live as fully Indigenous people without getting arrested. That's huge.
Communications specialist Kennedy Sepulvedo says Indigenous Peoples Day is one of the most popular events hosted by First Americans Museum.
So this is our third year having the Oklahoma City Indigenous Peoples Day at First Americans Museum. Before FAM was open, it actually was at Oklahoma City University, and they are also a partner in this, our sponsor for this event. So they had the first few years of Indigenous Peoples Day for Oklahoma City, but now that we have this beautiful museum, it is a perfect spot for it. This is one of our biggest events of the year.
And there's new things happening here at FAM. Visitors can now come and explore Chef Loretta's garden, where some of the crops are grown and used inside FAM's own restaurant, 39.
We'll be using the garden in our FAM camps that get the kids involved and planting little seeds in peat pots and all of that. And then we'll be using it as a kitchen garden for our edible flowers, our herbs and all of that. And it's exciting. I'm just beyond, everything over this garden.
The garden is part of a program presented by Shape Your Future and Tobacco Settlement Endowment Trust, also known as TSET.
We were really late in the season getting this garden in, so this is pretty much a winter garden, but we do have corn, bean, squash. We have chili peppers, we have edible flowers. We even have our state flower, the Gaillardia, or the Indian blanket in there, which is also, the petals are edible. Our redbud trees, which will bloom in the spring. I come out and I gather the little beautiful redbud blossoms and use them in the salads and sprinkle on desserts.
FAM plans to install benches and tables in the garden during the spring and summer months. Taylor Jackson, The Oklahoma News Report.